Tom Vassell, and welcome to Week in Review, a video series that we do where we talk about games that came out, or not games, our reviews that came out over the past week, and we tell you what we think about them. Content summary, if the Dice Tower, and then if you want to see the whole thing, check the links in the description below.
Hey everybody, I'm Zay Garcia. Here's what I reviewed last week. So I did Patterns, which I gave an 8 out of 10 to. This is a two-player abstract strategy game in the same line as Mandala. And it's really a very different thing. It's a pure, abstract, no-luck game with a really interesting system behind it. It makes you feel very clever. It's very quick and punchy. Like it a lot. I didn't like the look as much, and I didn't like sort of the delivery system. They made some choices so that it looks and seems like it's more Mandala that I thought were kind of missteps. The cloth board doesn't really work for a classy abstract. I think that's what I want. I want this to be a classy looking abstract, and it comes across a little more cheaply than the game deserves because the gameplay is really excellent. So that's kind of where I came down on that one. I reviewed the Atlantis Rising expansion, Monstrosities, and I gave this an 8 out of 10. I like a lot of it, but it is very disconnected. It's a bunch of different modules. Hey, here's some extra characters. Hey, here's a module we thought up. Here's some promo cards we threw in. It feels very cobbled together. I think some people aren't going to like that. And it also starts to, at the very least, dip a toe into that area of this is no longer a game you can quickly set up and play. We've thrown now a bunch of stuff at you. There's some luck in here now, a little more than there was. You now have to decide, like, oh, you want to play with the harpies? That's a thing. That's a new thing you got to set up. Oh, you want to play that character? Hold on, I got to go find these specific cards that tie to that character. So a little bloat, and it starts to push it outside of the comfort zone that game very comfortably resided in. But I do like the pieces in there. Artwork is great. Production's good. It's a wonderful expansion if you want a little more. And then lastly, I reviewed Star Wars Unlimited, the trading card game. I gave it an 8.5. It's excellent. It's a wonderful compilation of greatest hits from other trading card games. It is Star Wars. It feels engaging. It has a really nice back and forth pace to the game. Games are quick. They are punchy. They are exciting. Nice highs and lows. This is one that I'm definitely going to keep my eye on. I think it's going to be a real winner in the long run, too. So that's an 8.5. Star Wars Unlimited. And that's it for me, everybody. Thank you. I'll see you on the next.
Folks, it's the return of Chris time. This week I took a look at 4 games, the first of which was Findorff. I gave a 6.5. This is Friedemann Fries's homage to his hometown. It's interesting, it's neat, it's a simple little loop of actions that you go through, but I found it to be too uneven and ultimately not interesting enough to keep coming back to, but it's well made, a 6.5. Next up, Snow Planner, a 7.5. I find this to be really striking, the whole aesthetic of this one, but also the good sequence of actions you take as you level up your dice as workers that you're putting out there. Neat game, very solid and enjoyable, so 7.5. Cascadero, I gave it 8. Reiner Knizia's newest kind of tile-laying game about making connections amongst cities, racing for different objectives. I like how this one plays out, and I like how the tracks that you move up can cascade, Cascadero, into a rewarding loop between the map placement and the tracks that you're trying to manipulate. And then lastly, Patterns, an abstract game that I'm giving a 9. This is a sequel, follow-up to Mandala, by the same designers. I obviously really love this one. I gave this one a 9. A lot of great thinky, elegant kind of moments, but in a game that's not just a pure abstract where you're kind of building up this engine of victory points that is very rewarding. So that, folks, has been Chris time.
All right, week in review time. I did do a rapid fire roundup this week, so lots of videos there. Make sure to check that out if you want to see me talk about several different games. And also, I did a review of Star Wars Unlimited with everybody else. And I will say, when I looked at Star Wars Unlimited, I didn't necessarily like the art style of it and the graphic design, and I was kind of like not super excited about it. But then after playing the game, I feel like this is like the greatest hits of like trading card games or collectible card games, and they did an amazing job with the design work on this. It feels like you're getting into the game faster and having faster, more exciting games. I really enjoy the 2 combat areas, and I feel like this is my favorite Disney-themed collectible card game. which is saying something, I guess. But also the Star Wars theme fits really well as well. So yeah, definitely check that out. That was an 8 for me for Star Wars Unlimited. Anyway, that's what I took a look at this week.
Hey everybody, I'm Joey Evans, and this is what I reviewed this week. First off, I reviewed Nova Aetas, and that is a kind of a dungeon crawl type scenario-based dudes on a map type thing, but it's pretty fun. The whole thing is it takes a lot of setup, and the story was just fine for me. I like the action wheel as far as like be able to move, and I really like that idea, that mechanic. And I like once you're inside of a building, the mechanic of moving around, the different cards, the different choices you have there. But for me, I don't think it really warrants a setup. It's one of those that you may be interested in if you want to look into it further. It's got a nice story to it, but I gave this a 6.5. Then I also did Stifling Dark. Stifling Dark was one I saw at Gen Con a couple years ago, and it's a horror style game where you use a flashlight for hidden movement to find the person you're looking for. I think it's an interesting idea. I think the game itself was way too convoluted, way too icon heavy. And the whole way to get this to the table was way too difficult to explain all the different nuances of this. It needed to be streamlined a lot. I think it's almost there. I love the idea. This is, again, a 6.5. Then you've got Star Wars Unlimited. People were excited about this. This is a CCG. And this is my favorite CCG. This is a blast to play. It plays quick. It's thematic. It's fun. You know what you're doing. There's always a resource you can play face down from your hand. You're not waiting for land cards or anything like that. It's really quick. It's action, action, action. It's really good. However, it is still a CCG. And because I generally don't get into CCGs, this is coming up at a 7 from me. So I really enjoy it. If you have it, if you're into it, that's awesome. I'll come to your house and play it. It's probably not one I buy myself because I tend to avoid CCGs. But if you're looking for one to get into, this is great. It is thematic. It is fantastic. And that is Star Wars Unlimited. All right, so that is all I reviewed this week.
Hi, I'm Wendy Yee, and I have 2 games for you this week. The first one is Cascadero. This is a game that I was not expecting to enjoy, and I didn't love it, but I did give it a 7 because I did like it, and that surprised me. So you're placing out these little camels, and you're trying to meet a bunch of different objectives, and you're trying to move up on tracks. And I do love tracks, and I do love objectives. So it took this abstracted game and it turned it into that. So I'm giving this a 7. Cascadero, I did enjoy, and I think, you know what? It deserves an approved rating from me. The next one is Findorff, and oh my goodness, this is not a looker, but I was hoping to really love it. And I liked it, so this one also I give a 7. And in Findorff, you are building up this little economic engine, and you're trying to use peat, which I guess peat was an energy source before coal became a thing in the great land of Findorff. So there you go. It's a freedom and freeze game, and I liked what was going on with it. I think it was very smooth. There was a lot of just like the turns were very quick, except for a couple moments, which I'll talk about in the review. And so yeah, go check that out. So let's go ahead and see who is next.
This week I did a live Q&A. We also did a We'll Play It Live where we played a couple of 2-player games. And speaking of playing things live, we played River Valley Glassworks on Tuesday. And then I reviewed Snow Planner, which I think has a lot of great mechanisms and it's fun. There's a few minor things and the theme doesn't match up at all, but I enjoyed it, a 7 out of 10. On Wednesday, I did my look back, where I go back and take a look at videos that I did a while ago. And we did our crowd surfing. We take a look at Kickstarter projects. Thursday, I reviewed Nova Aetas. This is a big, giant box, kind of a role-playing dungeon adventure crawl type game. It's fine. I give it a 6 out of 10. I wish I liked it more. I feel like the combat system's too complex and the setup's too much for how light the game actually is. It's decent, but a 6 out of 10 is what I would give it. On Friday, we played Veiled Fate with the new expansion Tribunal. And me and the kids took a look at Divinus. This is the new legacy game from Lucky Duck. Great production, great stuff, but left me feeling a little cold. I didn't love the game as much as I wanted to. It's okay, 6 out of 10. On Saturday, I did a video where I talked about the most played games at Dice Tower West, which ones got checked out of the library the most. And Joey and I took a look at Stifling Dark. I gave this one a 6. Again, I wanted to love the game, but there's a lot of production and rules problems with this game. On Sunday, I reviewed 6 quick different games, Penny Dreadful and more. One of the games I talk about is horrific, one of the worst games I played in a long time. And we gave a review to Star Wars Unlimited, the new collectible card game from Fantasy Flight about Star Wars. Wasn't very much looking forward to this one at all, but I love the game, an 8.5. Alrighty, well, that's what I put out this week. Thanks for watching. This has been Week in Review. We'll see y'all next time.